not teach after I had a career? Go spend some time in a classroom and smell the roses, see what it feels like. If it doesn't feel right, it might not be right. If it does feel right and you start thinking, I could do this, I could do that, or I have this story to tell, or why didn't he say that example, then you're ready, go for it.
Everybody brings something to the table, everyone. If you're career changing, you bring something to the table. For me, what makes me me is my upbringing from Korea, my educational background, my military experience, my 11 years of business experience, and having 3 kids.
It's interesting. For many years I had thought about it. My wife was saying, look, you ought to do it. I spent many years, like 27 years, coaching in the community. I coached on a higher level. So that kind of gave me the, I guess, the impetus to do it. Working with people, helping them, seeing them grow. But when my girls, 3 daughters, all went to college and kind of were finishing up, I decided to, give something back. And at mid-50s, I said, or early 50s at the time, I decided I wanted to get into the classroom and spend some quality time, with these kids, with finance, something that I love, and something that's very, very needed today. And that's where my whole emphasis is.
As a professional, I hired, I fired, I had charge of a $28 million budget. So there was all those skills, that office skills, and you just transfer them into a classroom, and you just figure out what works and what doesn't. There's a learning process, there's a learning curve.
I would say that if you want to work really hard but get a lot of intrinsic rewards out of it, you're not going to get rich, but you'll feel really good most of the time when you go home, and you'll feel really good when down the road when kids come back and say, well, I became a teacher because of you, or I had a kid recently became a police officer because of me. Maybe he'll be a teacher after he's a police officer, I don't know. But it makes you feel good and see them. A lot of kids struggle, and then if you work with them and show them some respect, then when they do good and they make, pull themselves out of that, it makes you feel really good.
I think it took a week and I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked, and I knew that whereas I'm always thinking of myself as a scientist, I'm also thinking of myself as a teacher. And when my students ask me what I am, are you a science teacher? I tell them I am a teacher and I'm a scientist, and I combine the two because those 2 things are my passion. And the combination of the 2 is truly fascinating.
So people who are, who's thinking about changing careers, okay, they have a lot to offer. And I think it's really smart if they have a desire or kind of inclination to teach. I think getting into the classroom would be a good choice.
That passion that you take for the subject matter will flow over into teaching, and your students will feel that, and they'll pick that up in the classroom.
I'd say that it's a great career. I think it's really rewarding. I think it's probably one of the most important things. That's what I like. I mean, I thought it was important being a cop, but you got to be realistic. You're going to work hard. If you're a learner, a lifelong learner, it's a perfect opportunity. When you get paid for reading things and expanding your knowledge.
Well, in the past, I came from the private business sector. So for 25 years, I was in private business. I was also a former news reporter. So I bring the news reporter into the classroom because I'm a fanatic about writing skills, which are not great across the board in this country. Kids have to learn how to write, certainly read, and I just won't accept anything that's not outstanding. I want them to be creative. I'm not an English teacher. I tell them this is not English class. I wasn't a great English student, but I was a really good writer. I like more feature style, more free writing. I want them to be creative with it, and it's really, really important. So that aspect I bring from the past, along with the business connections that I've had, the investment aspect for like 35, 40 years. I want them to have that real world experience.
The two-way street is, I'm learning from my students as much as they are learning from me. And it's a learning that is not just about teaching, it's a learning about life lessons.
I'm full of stories, and so you're telling stories, whether it be life stories or whether it be stories about work. You have experienced things that they haven't, and those experiences are what they need to learn.
You know, I get up every day and I actually enjoy this, and I told my wife, because you know, you think about retirement down the road, and I'm at 57 years old. I'm not really looking for that. I like doing this. I like coming here every day. It's a different challenge every day. The lessons are not all the same for me. I try to make them different and engaging. I love to intermingle with the kids. They're just really good kids here, and it keeps you young.
It's worth it because of the kids that change. It's worth it because of the kids that have that light bulb turn on because you were there. It's worth it because at the end of the day you can see that you've made a difference.
For me, I want to see if I could put a little dent in helping the education system in the United States.
What I like best about teaching, every day is different. You never know what's happening. You never know what's gonna break your heart, what's gonna lift your heart. But at the end of the day, when I go to bed, I know that everything I did that day was that much more important than anything I did before in my life, even though I did some important stuff. Because if I can even nurture one person into becoming a scientist, then my mission has been accomplished.
But it really is. I wear when I have to, for certain events, when I have to wear a tie, I wear a tie that has little children on it, as bakers, as firemen, because teaching is about the kids, and that would be my tagline: is follow your passions and remember that teaching is about the kids.
I'll tell you very quickly. I'll use that Nike phrase: just do it. I really think if you've got that passion, go for it. If you have a desire and that interest, the kids need it. They need the real world connection. It's definitely worth doing.
It's our future, and I always say that I'll be in a nursing home someday, and I want kids that know what they're doing, taking care of me, not forget to feed me and things.